Hello everyone, welcome to the very first installment of a brand new show here on UploadVR, and here it is, the Backseat VR Developer Show. My name is Alex VR. I am one half of Between Realities, and I am joined here by Skeeva, the other half of Between Realities. How you doing, Skeeva?
I'm great. How you doing?
Doing pretty good, man. This is extremely exciting because today we are playing Everslaught, and we have been joined by Gihad, the developer of Everslaught. Hello, Gihad. Thank you for joining us.
Hey there. Thanks for having me.
This is going to be fun, dude. I'm quite excited.
It's so great to be with you guys.
It is great. We met at GDC. We had a chance to kind of get to know each other there, and we connected, and now here we are, and you're going to be riding my back while I play through your game, and this is going to be awesome.
I'll try.
Yes, it's going to be good. First thing I noticed right away, spectator cam active. Thank you for including this, my friend. This is pretty huge. The view that you all are getting right now is a result of Gihad incorporating this magnificent feature. So thanks for getting us started with that.
Yeah, you're welcome. It was actually a tip from my team.
Nice.
What was that?
Because like the FOV, it was a tip from my team because the FOV was way too low when watching the game, so it had to be done.
Well, thanks for doing it.
Showing a good spectator view is so important when showing the world your game. So
Definitely, and you want to see that view, right? Like you don't want to Twitch stream this and not be able to like have everyone see what's going on inside the VR headset.
Ooh. All right, we're off to a good start.
Sword.
The very first sword. So why don't you give us a little bit of the elevator pitch about what Everslaught is all about while I start working through this tutorial.
Yeah, like I'll tell you the very short version maybe.
Yeah.
At some point I wanted to do a VR game, and I thought, why not make Diablo in VR? And basically that's what I set out to do in like by the end of 2019, I think it was. And yeah, I gathered a small team to create a prototype, and then it became also a bit of Doom in VR, and then we had like the crossover Doom and Diablo in VR. And it sounds great on paper, you know, and it feels great also like when you play this, because like mixing RPG elements with a progression system and also like a very frenetic combat in VR for mainly people who have VR legs already. You can see like you can just walk around freely, and you can really like jump around and move very fast. Like this is not normal in VR, I would say, at this stage.
No, I'm moving pretty quick. Even this normal natural movement speed is a lot higher than you will typically have in like when you just immediately spawn into a VR game.
Yeah, it's more akin to like UT or Quake or something like these good old games, you know?
oh, those are some of my favorites. Unreal Tournament, Quake 3 Arena. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, like this is definitely also like all coming in form of inspiration for this game, because I used to play all these games all the time. And Doom especially was one of my favorite games, probably because I played it during my childhood, you know? But also like Quake, like duking it out in a Quake match, Quake 3, and also in UT 99. Like those were like the high times of FPS, I think, you know, when innovation was still happening. And I think we're in a time in VR where innovation just needs to happen in order to move forward. And there is not a lot of stuff like this in VR, I think. I was actually looking like for titles, also like doing competitive analysis and stuff like this, looking for titles that actually have fast-paced movement and like are close to these old school shooters, but I just couldn't find anything, you know?
There's really no reason for me to have both of these swords at this point, right? Like, why would I want to have this one with me as well? I wouldn't, right?
No.
Okay.
Probably not.
Oh, and then...
When you encounter maces are good for destroying armor, so then it actually makes sense to switch between two weapons.
Okay. Great. I like how you have the option to do the grip toggle options there, you know, like sometimes it makes sense to really just like hold on at all times, and sometimes it doesn't. I actually like to be able to switch it.
Yeah, I'm also usually using the hold, like grip to hold option, where when you release your grip, the weapon falls down.
Yeah.
But after like fighting for an hour or so, it becomes cumbersome, so it's nice to switch over to the
Totally. It is more immersive, I think, to grip your controller like that, but even after like 15-20 minutes, you know, your hand starts to get clammy.
Yeah.
You know, you're like gripping
Especially
so hard.
Yeah, like you fight a lot of enemies in this game. Like, you have to hold your sword in your hand all the time, especially when you get to the dungeon area. There's really no option to just put it on your back and getting it out every time, you know?
There's so much blood. Love it.
This is awesome.
Very bloody, yeah.
Yeah.
We actually reworked the blood VFX in the last patch to make it really stick to the ground and stuff.
Oh, nice. I see that. Oh, that's a really nice touch, man. And after the fall, like everything is white in After the Fall, so when blood is going, it's like so obvious. Yeah, this looks great. This game is so visceral, dude. Like, I mean, I've played this game before, and it is just so visceral. That is really like the best word that I can think of to describe it. Like, what do you have to do to like accomplish that feeling of just like awesomeness?
I think you have to really playtest a lot. Like, this was a major part of our development, to just make stuff immediately and then playtest and adjust it all the time, really. Like, when we started, I think we started development around March 2022. No, 2020. And we just made the first prototype, like making like a small arena in Unity and putting in some enemies, like from the asset store basically. And then making the melee combat work in its essential way, you know? Like, just having very simple collision detection, having like the player move around very quickly, just like here, and having like the jump option and everything, and then just trying it out and seeing how it feels. And this feeling, you can't just make it right on paper. You have to test it. You have to really play the game over and over again.
So this
is what we did.
What is this? What is this thing?
This is part of the lore. We have to figure out what the lore is.
Early access game.
Yeah. You'd have to ask my art director, because he came up with all this stuff.
This is really cool.
I think he dreamt up all this stuff in his nightmares or something, but he's really good at thinking about stuff like that.
Well, he was really able to execute well, because this is one of the prettiest games, I mean, just graphically gorgeous, that I've seen. Period.
Thanks, yeah. I mean, he will hear this, definitely, so...
how big is your team?
He will appreciate it a lot. So when we made Everslaught, we finished it while we were 6 people in total. Basically, we had 2 programmers, including me, on the team, and an art director who like made mostly the concept art, but also 3D models in part. Then also we had a 3D artist who like was also our technical artist, and who made like all the lighting effects and made everything work basically in an optimized fashion. And also we had an animator, of course. So, and a game designer who made all the levels that you see in Everslaught basically, and also balanced out the game design, and who was the one that playtested it the most. So it was a very small team for a project like this, and it took us, I think, 1.5 years until we finished the early access version.
That's really not that long.
Which was released last August. Yeah, it was pretty quick. Like, we didn't have much margin for error actually, because like getting funding like for the prototype and then getting further funding to do the early access version, like this was a story on its own, you know. Like, it's very, very hard to do all that stuff and to consistently be able to increase your team size to be able to do a project like this, and then like also like have a plan for the future and work on like doing deals also to continue working past the early access phase and everything.
All right, so
really not that easy.
This is the loop here, right? Then, so essentially we're going to be slaughtering and collecting blood, and then coming back here and offering that blood to this big metal machine god situation that we haven't fully nailed down yet, and now I can start to kind of choose the path that I want to go, right?
Yeah, this is basically the beginning of our very simple progression system. Like, you can just choose one of the 3 characters, so to speak, and each of them has like very specific attributes that get improved. and you can level up each of them basically with each upgrade that you get.
Nice.
But essentially, like what the overall scheme looks like. So Everslaught right now in its version just has like this tutorial area, this intro area where you get through the desert. You're not there yet, by the way. You have to go back and basically to the intro area is much bigger.
Nice.
So once you finish that, you get into this desert loop, the roguelite element that we have in there right now. But the game is actually not supposed to be a roguelite. It's more supposed to be like a structure of Diablo 2. I'm saying Diablo 2 because that's the closest Diablo basically to what we're planning. Like, we want to have an Act 1 where you have like these linear areas that you go through that are really like handmade, like this one. And then you get to like dungeons that are procedurally generated, where you have like new content all the time, and we have that already in there. But then you also have like a boss fight at the end, and then you progress to the next arena, to the next area, sorry. And this next area then looks completely differently themed. Like we want to actually include a theme that, for example, you are now inside like a temple or something like this, and you have like these different temple rooms, or you have a sewer area where it looks complete, or a swampy area. Similar to Diablo's acts, like Act 1 you have like the city, or like the Tristram-like city, where you have like the forest and everything, and then the next act is completely desert, you know? And then Act 3 is also different. And each area has like an end boss, and when you finish that end boss, you basically finish the act and continue with the linear story. And what we added with this update actually that you're playing right now is like audio logs, where probably the next audio log you will find after this fight, which you can listen to stories from people who lived in that city that built out the lore basically of everything. And through that, like we have a storytelling element also through the environmental assets, of course. But we plan to include more of that, and we've also talked about like adding NPCs and stuff like this to really like increase the story aspect of it all, but also not to dive too deep into that. Like you can imagine, really, like Diablo 2 is a good template for this. You have NPCs there, but you can only talk to them like in the city. They don't move around and so on. So we'll have something like that, basically.
So right now in early access, it plays like kind of like a roguelike, but that's not where we're going with it.
No, it's actually going to be much more custom tailored.
Sweet.
So you will be able to, for example, have your weapons upgraded. You will be able to like have different sword abilities and stuff like this, or other features. Like you will be able to choose also in a skill tree between different characters and their perks. This is the face basher.
Yes, it is, because it has faces on it.
Yeah.
It's pretty brutal. I was beating some heads with it yesterday.
Right. Is this weapon in this chest for everyone? Like, is there any randomization to these chests?
It's completely randomized.
Really?
So,
that could have been. This
yeah.
could have been something for someone else, or a different weapon.
Yeah, it's good. It could have been a rare weapon also
nice.
with some skill attached to it.
This
So,
one is uncommon. I assume, is that what we're calling green items? Uncommon?
is it common or uncommon? I think
It was green text.
Okay, I don't know. Probably it was. No, I think it had a higher durability, and then it gets plus damage. So if you continuously repair your weapon,
Fine face.
then you
smasher.
actually, it gets this fine face smasher instead of just face smasher, because it's like better quality,
Nice.
better durability.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
So we actually have a dynamic naming system also, depending on what the state or the skills on the weapon are.
Sweet.
Like you have different namings.
Sweet. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's very
and with
much
that
Diablo.
weapon, by the way, if you swing hard enough, you will like smack enemies back.
Oh man.
This is the stronger dude. So if you noticed, like there was a knockback on the enemy when you
I did
swung.
notice that. Oh, and there's blood on it now.
Yeah, that was also something we added with the last
That's a
update.
nice touch. Why is it important for this to just be so brutal, right? Because it is, at the end of the day. Like, this is something that we like.
I mean, you want to feel like someone who is just mighty, right? You just want to feel powerful with
Yeah.
this. When you swing a weapon like this and an enemy flies off like 10 meters away, like you feel like someone who can really beat everything here.
Yes, you feel
So
all
basically,
powerful.
this loop of like getting a reward all the time when you finish like a run, this is included also in the intro area. Before that, it wasn't included actually. This is probably why you got confused, because you played an early version.
I went straight around.
Yeah, exactly. But now we have like some level ups already in the intro area, so that you can see that the progression system is already there, you know, because most people started to play this game and they thought it's just like some kind of adventure experience, and it's not like so heavy on RPG elements. And we wanted to shift that feeling and show people that it's actually more than that.
Nice.
It's yeah, we refined the whole intro area, like with one major update that we did that really helped also people get on board of the
Activated grappling hook.
This grappling hook is one of my favorite things in this game.
So you turn your hand to the
awesome.
right, and it goes into the grappling hook, and then you turn it to the left, and
Yeah.
it switches straight into the shotgun, and it's like super smooth.
That was a very, very early idea that we had, and I was wondering why other VR games don't do that. Because you can do it so easily in VR, right?
It's such a simple
Let your
gesture.
hands react. Yeah, like just use simple gestures as an input method. And yeah, like the grappling hook is one of the best things I think in this game.
I love it. It feels so good. It's very smooth. You can grapple onto enemies, pull yourself in and really bash them, or you can use it to get up to higher places. It's really awesome. Feels good.
Yeah, what do you think about the blood system?
I'm
Like,
totally into this.
I mean the blood system as in like using it for your ammo and your health at the same time.
I really
Because-
like it.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like it is a way better system in my opinion than like making ammo scarce and forcing me to like constantly be like scavenging for it. It's like I'm rewarded just by being awesome instantly, and I can immediately turn it around and use it to my advantage, you know?
Yeah, like this was actually one of the first aspects that we liked from Doom, and that we copied a little bit from Doom, was the push forward combat mechanic, where you are rewarded for being like kind of crazy with the enemies and getting out the blood from them and using it to refill like your health and refill your ammo at the same time. So you have to get in their face. Because you don't get the blood if you kill them with the shotgun. You only get the blood when you kill them with the melee weapon. Oh, I think you're low on health.
No.
Because I heard him cry differently.
There's no way. I'm invincible.
No, on the right. So on your right hand, you can see like your health meter. Man, you're just going crazy with these guys.
Ooh. Hold on. Where's? That's out of range, huh?
You can upgrade that. This is one of the RPG elements, basically. This guy just staring at you. What are you doing to him?
Oh, I think I did die. Who
Told
dies
ya.
in the tutorial?
We made the tutorial a little bit harder.
No, that's
because
good.
It was not visceral enough before.
Well, it kind of sucks when like you feel like you're wasting your time in a tutorial experience. You know, it's like oftentimes it's like, man, can I just please get all this over with so that way the time that I'm spending actually counts for something? But that's not the case here. I'm like getting levels, you know, and I'm learning as I'm playing, which I really appreciate.
Yeah, exactly. Like this was also why we did the level upping also in the intro area, because we wanted people to feel that they're not wasting time, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And also we added very generous checkpoints, actually.
That's nice too. I mean, you know, obviously if you fail and you're just not doing it right, you need to be taken back, you know, but it does suck when like you invest a ton of time and then you falter slightly and lose like 15, 20 minutes, you know?
Yeah, definitely. No, but we also were thinking about the difficulty aspect and discussing it multiple times in the team, and we're going to do something there in the future. But there's still like a lot of stuff that we want to do, that we have on the roadmap, and that we didn't do yet. For example, like the act-like structure that we discussed. This is something that will take a lot of time, obviously. Like,
Totally.
you will have to create new content for completely different areas of the game. And create new weapons, create new skills and stuff like this. Add a skill tree, like skill tree alone, like is such a game design feat that you need to work on and test immensely. So these are all a lot of challenges.
So like, how do you find the balance with like releasing something like this, right? Because this is fun, you know, like in its current state, it's really fun, and you could just be like, yep, this is Everslaught. And people would be like, cool, great game. You know, but the fact that you're doing so much more, of course, is awesome. But I'm curious, like, when do you draw that line, you know? Like, are you going to develop this for years before it becomes officially released? Or how do you figure that out?
Honestly, I think a lot of devs fret too much about what people will think of their game when it gets released. I think you have to just set a milestone on what will be fun, what will be considered fun for you specifically, and you have to be honest to yourself, of course. When you reach that state in the game where you really think like this game is fun now in its current state, then it should be fine, you know, then you should be able to release that game. And I mean, we set a goal, and I remember like February last year was when we wanted to release the early access version, and I played it and I told the gang like, this is not fun yet, we need to add 3 more enemy types. We only had 3 enemy types in the beginning. But then we said like, no, that's not enough. We need to add 3 more. And we knew that this meant like we need to spend another 3 or 4 months on the game. So we just did it because otherwise the game would not be considered fun for us. And this is like the critical point, like because I told you like we play test a lot. We are all VR nerds. We play a lot of VR games, so we can actually say like this is fun or it's not fun. We don't need like much. We let other people play it, of course, but we did a lot of play testing ourselves, and wow, you found the secret area.
That's right.
Okay, it's not that secret. You have to look up and just go up there.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, basically, I think it's very hard, like, to set that line and to say, like, when are we going to release this? But especially because we did an early access release, we kind of, like, worked around this problem. Because even if it's not finished yet, we could still say, like, this is fun.
This is scary. This is not fun. Look at this. Who did this?
You, my artist dreams up stuff in his nightmares. This is one of those dreams.
Pretty nasty. Really sells. Everything really sells the environment.
Just passed, you can find an audio log, one of the few audio logs. So there we thought about the mechanic on how best to do this. Yeah, this is exactly how you do it.
It's been months since the day the earth split, robbing me of my mother and brother, and sending
you
my
can actually
father
listen to the
this
gauntlet. It comes out of the
unending
gauntlet.
slumber.
You hold your hand
Tend
up
to
to
this
your ear.
grieving body, loving though you should.
I knew that guy
But
was
as I
coming.
sit here, alone in this cold and neglected home, I secretly wonder, it wouldn't be better should the state finally take him.
So this is, I think the audio log story is called Daughter's Lament, and it's like 3 parts that you have to collect throughout the game. And this is like a daughter talking about her father who is slowly turning into one of these monsters.
Nice.
And this is just one part of the world building that we want to do in the future, you know? We have also another audio log collection in there, and this is basically just introducing like the story element in this.
Now, when I use the blood cells to either heal, which I'm doing now, or use the gun, is that taking out of my pool of the blood that I turn in at the end of the run?
No.
Okay.
This is actually something that confused a lot of people, and I think we have to make it clearer. It's actually like just the blood capsules that you see on your hand.
Okay.
This is basically your ammo for health and your ammo for the gun.
Oh, that guy's gonna blow up on me. Like, wait a second.
Yeah, I can see that you know this game too well.
Yeah, Well, I've played video games, and anything that's crouched over with a big old glowing ball on its back is definitely going to blow up when I hit it.
Yeah, I think this is exactly it. Like, you have to have played some video games that are like first-person shooters or something to really appreciate this game, you know, and the fastness of it. I think some people will be put off by this. Someone who comes new into the art shouldn't play this, you know. I would say it myself, like, don't really try this.
Definitely for veterans.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and we aimed it towards, like, if you look at the Steam page, the description says, like, this is not like walking around like a snail or something.
Yeah, not your grandma's VR game.
Yeah, this is if you really want to get intense with VR. And I think we need more games like this, honestly. Like, one of my favorite games in VR, or the favorite game probably, is Half-Life Alyx, because it's still like, you still walk around slowly there, but it's still like the most immersive VR game with like a complete story and like so many options like to choose from.
It's so good.
Yeah, we need more games like that, you know?
Well, and honestly, one of the things that just makes Alyx so good is the high quality interactions and visuals. And I gotta be real with you, dude. They're really good here. Like, I mean, the interactions and the visuals here are both completely engrossing and like feel like they should.
Awesome. That's very good to hear. Like, we want to maintain this high quality, you know, and of course, like, people have been asking us, like, what about Quest and what about a release there? And I can only say, like, in order to sustain even like the development of this, we need to consider like a Quest version. So it's basically something that we're of course looking at and targeting. Like, we want to make something for the Quest as well. But the trick will be there. Like, how do we scale down the graphics a little bit, because we aim for something very high on the PC version. And we want to maintain the same art style at least on the Quest, you know?
Yeah, that makes it hard.
Yeah, and that can be tricky, you know? I mean, Blade and Sorcery tried, and, you know, it's a big difference. Oh! That's...
I saw it coming, man. You need to pay attention to the screams, because the screams tell you when you're low health.
I do need to pay attention to the screams. I can't believe that.
But you were so inside, like I couldn't even interrupt you.
Yeah. Don't interrupt me when I'm killing.
Yeah, I'm actually getting kind of scared there.
Yeah, you're lucky that you know, you didn't say anything to cross me while we met at GDC, because I would have been pulling this out, man. And it's your game that trained me to do it. That's the worst part.
Murder simulator.
Yeah. And then I'll get some VR, like negative VR at some point, like for like making a kill game or something.
I would say all PR is good PR.
Yeah. Probably more people will buy it then, yeah. Yeah, so what I wanted to basically hint at also is that we made a PC VR game first because we just love the PC platform, and we thought we could like really impress with the graphics, and we were able to do that hopefully. So now the next step is like, how can we sustain our studio? We've grown to like I think 12 people now, so we basically doubled in size since the release, and this is only because like we can't just stay on PC. Like, we need to aim at releasing it on other platforms as well, and really think strategically. And people need to be really aware of like how complicated, how complex the game development process is. Like, it's really something that people really a lot of times just don't have the experience in, and they think that developers just work on that stuff and just put it out in like a few months or something. But it's really a very, very hard road to go. And it's scary at times because you're responsible for so many people, and you're trying to like make something real, like coming from your own vision, and you want to balance that quality as well as the responsibility that you have. It's not that simple.
Yeah, people's livelihoods are at stake, right? I mean, ultimately, game studios are businesses. And you do have to be able to make some money, right? If you want to continue to develop and pay your employees and have them be able to eat. So, makes sense.
I don't know if you saw the YouTube series Double Fine Adventure by Tim Schafer. Like he hired basically, I think, a video making studio to film them during the development of what was it, Broken Age, I think.
Okay.
And it just documents the whole process over years on how they made that game. And at some point they had to like fire like a third of their staff or something, and it was just heartbreaking, you know, like seeing like the outcome is just the game. You play it and you like it or not. But there were so many people affected by this thing. And it's just like crazy to see all these stories and to think that people like sometimes don't really appreciate the effort that went into something like this. It's sometimes hard to fathom.
Right. Well, and for me, a lot of times too, the biggest thing that stands out is the financial aspects of all this. Kind of what we're talking about, but it's like, you know, while you're developing the game, you're not selling it. So this is years where you're just dumping hours and dollars into creating an experience that you hope people will buy. And I can imagine that's a very scary place to be in, especially when you do have a PC VR title like you said.
Definitely. Like, this is actually not my first VR endeavor, which most people don't know, because I did it also under a different company name back then. But in 2015, I dreamt up like a game called Space Rift, which you can still find on Steam and on the PSVR store, actually.
Nice.
Where I wanted to make like a Wing Commander for VR. I don't know if you guys know Wing Commander, but it's basically a very old. It's like Star Citizen, but much older. I had this dream of like making this game, and I contacted like a small publisher in Germany and had them fund this thing. Like I was able to convince them with a very minor prototype to go, because like VR is the next big thing and everything. But we only had a budget for like 6 months with like a limited amount of people, and it was just the hardest thing I did in my life. I think it was just super scary, and I was financially, it was planned like just a little bit short of what I needed, you know. And maybe like 80 or 90% of the funds that I would actually need, and we had to finish the game in like 6 months. 6 months is nothing for a VR game.
Yeah.
Where you want to make like a space opera, basically. And it was really like a really hard experience back then, because I worked on that thing for a year or so with the team. And after that, I like had financial trouble. Also privately, I had to lay off my whole team. I had to start over, basically. And then I took a little break, and then I came back with Everslaught, basically. But learning from that like gave me also the ability and the skills to plan out the financials of this in a way that doesn't leave me like financially broken afterwards, you know. So I think that's very important for game devs to also consider. Like, consider your planning appropriately. Consider like the financial stability after releasing the game specifically. It's not that easy. I think you have to go through the tutorial points, Alex.
Well, we are just
there
about
are like
at
some
the end of our
Google
time
Maps
here as
indicators.
well.
How much more? How long have we been going?
About a half hour.
About half hour.
This is your new weapon station. Here you can, at some point, buy the new gauntlet weapon.
Exciting.
It costs some money.
Yeah, it does.
You have to turn your hand to. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
I gotta do.
But that was.
Well, we're almost there, all right? Because something needs to happen here before.
Basically, the next part would be the dungeon that you jump into.
Yeah, I gotta get in there, real quick. So, okay, so it's obvious I can't buy anything here right now, right?
Not yet. No. You can go to the other stations. Yeah, of course. You can just go back.
Just move. Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and here's the weapon sharpening station. I remember this.
The shop, you can actually buy weapons there also and sell weapons now.
Oh, nice. Buy rare. And sell. Okay, well that would be a reason to hold on to an extra sword.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, you did.
Here you can sharpen the weapon.
Yeah, it needs to be sharp. Because, yeah, it comes to chance. Okay.
It's nice to watch the game. To watch someone play the game. I think I need to jump back in.
Yeah, dude, this game is cool.
I can't wait to play more. I mean, I played this for a while last night, and I didn't want to stop. It's really good. It's so
It
immersive.
sucks you in.
It really
Yeah,
is.
it sucks you in.
It's super immersive. The enemies are great. The texturing you guys use is fantastic. The lighting is incredible. It's just
Yeah, thanks
just a
so
great
much.
game.
Like, this is something my artists will love to hear because they really spent a lot of time just getting this right.
This is the moment right here, dude.
This is what you wanted to show.
This is it. Check this out. This is how you
Yeah, I
start
heard
your
you-
runs.
I heard you talking to Gamertag on your podcast about this moment specifically.
It's so good.
You feel like a superhero when you fall down.
Dude, it's so good.
It was like my template for designing this was basically I want to be Iron Man in VR and drop down like Iron Man.
Well, I think you pulled it off.
You did. So currently the game is available in early access on PC VR, and you're sitting here telling us that you're eyeballing other platforms and hoping and praying and putting energy into making that happen. Am I hearing this right?
Yeah, but we're also working on patches for the PC version, which one is going to release soon, hopefully. So we're still working on that and expanding on that, but honestly, like, we need to also focus on other interesting VR platforms that are coming up because that's where the money is right now, you know, and we need to just sustain ourselves as a studio.
All right. What do you think, Skeeva? Is there anything else? Gihad, is there anything that we haven't talked about or we haven't mentioned?
I don't know. Have you guys any questions that I can answer still?
What do you think, Skeeva?
Man, I think we're good. I think everyone needs to play this game. If you have access to a decent gaming PC and you can run this, you should be playing it because it's
So
pretty
awesome. So awesome.
Yep.
It is awesome. All right. So what's the very next thing that we should expect to hear from you then? Are you able to tell us what is coming up next?
We have announcements lined up, but we can't say them just yet. Like,
Okay.
Probably within the next few weeks or months, we will be able to really get into details there. And latest by Gamescom, you will see stuff.
Oh, at Gamescom. All right.
Yeah, you will see actual stuff. So,
All right. Well,
stay
that
tuned
sounds
for that.
awesome. Jihad from Everslaught, thank you so much, A, for making this game. That's awesome. And B, for being a part of the show. You know, it's really, this is our inaugural episode, and I hope you all had fun joining us. My name is Alex VR. I'm half of Between Realities. The other half is right there. He's Mr. Skeeva. Thank you, Skeeva and Gihad, for being here with me today. I'm going to continue to slaughter everyone. UploadVR.com. Like, subscribe, Between Realities, like, subscribe, Gihad, check out Everslaught on Steam, and we will see you all in the next episode. See you guys.
Thanks so much, guys.
Bye-bye.
See ya.